My craziest Black Friday happened more than 10 years ago. My uncle and I hit up a department store a short drive away, and little did we know, it was about to turn into a horror show. The clock just struck midnight, and the place is like a war zone of shoppers going nuts for deals. Suddenly, my uncle grabs his chest, drops to the floor, and I'm thinking, this can't be real. I immediately crouched down to check on him and see whether he hit his head or something. I saw him breathing shallowly and rapidly. He was 50 then and was healthy for his age. Maybe he got nauseous with the sheer number of people in the store. I quickly thought we needed medical help right away, but here's the messed up part. People just kept stepping over him. Like, what the heck? All these bargain-hungry folks didn't even bat an eye at a guy gasping for air. I'm yelling for help, but it's like I'm invisible in the midst of Black Friday madness. I fell on my butt and got pushed and stepped on too. Then, out of the chaos, a nurse appears. She starts doing CPR, and thank goodness, an off-duty paramedic shows up too. But they're also fighting through the crowd, trying to save my uncle, while shoppers just carry on like it's business as usual. No one stopped to even make a small perimeter around us. The paramedic dialed 911, and I watched in horror as they tried resuscitating my uncle. Eventually, an ambulance rolls in, but it's too late. My uncle's gone, and I'm left wondering how the heck humanity got so messed up. Our outraged friends and family can't believe it either. Why didn't someone step up sooner, instead of stepping on us? In 2013, I decided to join the ranks of those crazy early birds who get up at 3 a.m. to snag some Black Friday deals. A nearby store was running insane discounts on artificial Christmas trees, so I wanted to get there early and grab one for my parents' house. They opened their doors at exactly 3 a.m., a whole 3 hours earlier than their usual for Black Friday. Surprisingly, only one other guy and I were waiting to get in. I guess everyone else was hitting up Best Buy or the mall. I spotted a gorgeous 9-foot-tall artificial Christmas tree. It was originally priced at $200, but at that moment, it was half off for only $100. Score. I asked one of the few employees working at that ungodly hour to help me carry the box to the checkout and then to my car. The parking lot was surprisingly empty for Black Friday, and I thought maybe I didn't need to come so early. I tipped the guy, got in my car ready to leave when someone knocked on my window. I lowered the window, and there was this guy, mid-20s, beanie and tall, leaning into my window. He asked if I had change. I opened the little compartment between the seats where I normally keep change, and it was empty. I didn't want to hand him a 10, so I said, "Nah, man, sorry." He looked disappointed, and I actually felt bad. He then asked if I could give him a lift to the nearest gas station. I was a bit nervous about letting a stranger in my car, but what the heck, I let him in. Oddly enough, he didn't thank me, which kind of hurt my feelings because, I'm a bit sensitive. I asked him if he knew of any nearby gas stations, and he just said, "Nah." A few seconds later, I asked him why he needed to go to a gas station, and I swear to God, he didn't answer. He just flat out ignored me. I stopped looking at him at that point because I was feeling a bit uncomfortable. Now, I kept driving down main and side roads, but there was no goddamn gas station anywhere. I was trying not to look in his direction, but I could tell he was staring at me. Every turn, every stop sign, he was just staring. I was sweating, and this guy was freaking me out. I felt like at any moment he could just grab my throat, and that would be it. At last, I could see a gas station just beyond a light that had just turned red. It did have to turn red just now, I thought to myself. I could still feel his stare, even as I looked the other way. I finally decided to summon the courage and looked at him. I felt this cold, emotionless stare run straight through my eyes into my soul. "Are you okay?" I asked him. He ever so slightly nodded his head, almost not even noticeable. The light turned green, and I pulled into the gas station. He stepped out, stood by the sidewalk, and watched me as I pulled away. When I got past the intersection, I left out of joy in the ridiculousness of the situation. But then, I realized something. I patted myself down and began to panic. I was missing something. My phone. I was only a few blocks away, so I made a U-turn and headed back to the gas station. He was gone already. I drove home and confirmed that my phone was missing. I knew I had left it in the cup holder of my car. My phone had all of my info on it. I contemplated calling the police, but I didn't. I couldn't even sleep that night, fearing that some stranger had my address. The next night, after getting home from a 2-day delayed Thanksgiving dinner with family, I found my front door open and my entire house trashed. I called the police with my neighbor's phone. They didn't find anyone in there, but they found prints everywhere. However, they didn't match anyone on record. Looking back on this story, I can't help but ask myself, what was I thinking? It was a terrible experience to teach me to learn to say no and be in better control of uneasy situations. So, there I was, elbow deep in the Black Friday chaos. The megastore was a battlefield of shopping carts, discounted goodies, and a wild mix of consumer madness. People were practically throwing elbows for the last large-screen TVs, and the air had that unique scent of deal-hunting intensity. I found myself in the electronics section, surrounded by flickering lights and the constant hum of the crowd. My cart was filling up nicely with gadgets, and I was feeling like the Black Friday champion. But that's when things took a weird turn. I stumbled upon this seemingly untouched aisle, thinking I'd hit the jackpot with undiscovered deals. The silence in there was downright spooky compared to the shopping frenzy outside. As I sifted through the bargains, I caught sight of movement in the shadows. Out steps this tall woman, looking like she could bench press a truck and dressed in what seemed like a beat-up Black Friday employee uniform. She gives me this deadpan look and says, "You're here for the steals, huh?" I tried to keep it light with a chuckle, but there was something about her that sent shivers down my spine. She kept stride with me as I maneuvered through the aisles, like my own personal ominous bodyguard. Then, the store's intercom crackled to life, and a distorted voice announced, "Hey, Black Friday shoppers, the time has come. The store demands a sacrifice for your discounts." I rolled my eyes, thinking it was some next-level marketing stunt. But this tall woman, she got this intense look, and suddenly the lights dimmed. In the darkness, I felt this cold breeze, and there she was, right next to me. Next thing I knew, the lights were back, and I stood alone in that aisle. My cart was still full of bargains, but the whole place felt different. It was bustling again, but I couldn't shake this weird feeling that on that Black Friday night, I stumbled into a retail twilight zone. It felt like the cost of my killer discounts wasn't just about the cash in my wallet, but something far more unsettling. Your support means a lot to me. Please drop a like and subscribe to Eerie Echoes for more horror stories. As always, thank you for watching.